Okay, Connor, using the system, we want to be in the correct position, the correct speed, and the correct gear for any hazard. So, as the view opens out, we see a clump of buildings on the near side. We can anticipate vehicles there, pedestrians. Also notice the hazard lines on the road. Checking the road surface itself. And as we get closer to the junction and the view opens out, consider giving a signal, checking your mirrors, and we see that it's a petrol station, so we can anticipate diesel spillages. Checking for fast moving traffic when the way is clear. If you're in any doubt, lifesaver, and off you go. Looking far ahead as the eye can see, we see a clump of houses on both the near and off side, and we see the road bends round gently to the right, so we go through this system to get ourselves in the correct position, the correct speed, and the correct gear to deal with these hazards. You'll notice here, in position 3, we get a better view of the road up ahead as it turns around to the left hand side. You'll notice because there's an oncoming vehicle, we change from position 3 to position 2. We don't sacrifice our safety for a position for a better view. Again, noticing the hazard lines on the road, and using the hedgerows up ahead on both the near and off side, we gauge the corner and we get ourselves into position 1, also using the telegraph poles to give us a better view. Again, using telegraph poles, checking the hazard lines, looking at the road conditions, we see the road bends round to the right hand side, so we get ourselves into position 1 nice and early. We have an S-bend approaching, so checking the road surface, it's not fantastic here. We pick the best line that gives us the best safety, not necessarily the best view. And once we've passed through the right hand corner, we're anticipating the left hand corner. Again, using the slow signs on the road, and there's our corner to the left hand side, also with a junction on it. So, using the system, we'll check the mirrors, slow down, and use the correct gear. And you'll notice here, position 3 again, we want to get the best view before we turn this left hand corner. And when we see the vanishing point, open and out, know the bend's friendly, and we can get on the gas. Again, looking as far as the eye can see, we see a clump of houses on the near side, and in the distance we're coming up to a crest of a hill. So what we want to do is get ourselves into position 1 nice and early. Checking those near side houses and driveways, they're clear, so it's safe to proceed into position 1. The reason we get into position 1 is because there may be a possibility of a vehicle overtaking in our lane. So when we cut the daisies, as it's known as, it gives us a much greater safety margin. Another important point is about anticipation, Connor. You want to be able to anticipate what's likely to happen in the next few seconds. We're coming into a crossroads here on a bend. So we're having a look at it. We're using the system. Where do we position ourselves? What speed do we head at? What gear should we be in? Noticing vehicles coming on the crossroads, there's a good tendency for vehicles to cut the line. Is this vehicle going to do it? Because if it does, this is what the likely result of what's going to happen. You're going to end up striking the side of the vehicle, and you don't want that. So position yourself, get yourself in the correct speed and the correct gear. Maximize your safety. Again, use the slow markers on the road. Read the road signs also. Too many bikers don't do that. Look at the hazard lines. Look at the ironwork on the road. Try and stay off it if you can. Coming up to a hidden dip here. Again, we get ourselves into position 1 nice and early, in case there's a vehicle that'll be approaching in our lane. Looking as far ahead as I can see, I want to point something out to you here. Look at that telegraph pole above our heads. If the view was restricted by hedgerows on both sides, as long as you've seen this telegraph pole, you would know to anticipate there's a house there, and to anticipate a driveway, a lay-by, or even a parked vehicle. And remember to look through gates. Look over the hedgerows. Get your head up out of your shoulders. Have a good look around. Use observational clues. Are there tractors in the field? Is there horse manure on the road? Is the mud on the road from tractors fresh? Looking up in the distance here, we also see an isolated house. So what can we anticipate is going to happen? There's got to be a driveway there, or a junction. So we're anticipating vehicles pulling out on us. So you use the system, get in the correct position, the correct speed, and the correct gear to get past this safely. And there we go. There's the driveway. Had you not anticipated it and got yourself in the correct position, this is what can happen to you. You don't want to T-bone a vehicle because you don't anticipate it's going to be there. Use the system flexibly. Look around you for hazards. Link the observational clues together to formulate a riding plan, but be flexible in your approach to it. So a brief recap, Connor. Take the information around you, use it flexibly, form your observational clues, take the links, formulate your riding plan, look at the hazard lines in the road, look at the road service, look at the vanishing point, look at everything you can see around you, and then get yourself in the correct position to deal with each hazard, get yourself in the correct speed, and very essentially make sure you pick the correct gear. A little clue here, look at the mud on the road, is it fresh? If so, anticipate a tractor up ahead. Again, looking up ahead, we see a built-up area, so we can anticipate a change of speed limit. We can anticipate pedestrians, we can anticipate vehicles, and so on. And there we go. There's a change of speed limits. Using the system flexibly here, we would just use correct acceleration sense to roll off the throttle and just marry 30 miles an hour on a speedo